Hey, Steve Stine from GuitarZoom here. Thank you again for joining me. This is the third video in a 3-video series. Okay, we've been trying to talk about how to change your thought process and your approach to soloing. And certainly we're talking about soloing over blues right now, although a lot of these things can be used in any style of music, no doubt about it. So in the first video, we talked about setting yourself up by preparing for the situation. Know what key you're in, know what scales you're going to use, know what the tempo is and what grooves are available for you at that tempo that you're comfortable with. Okay? And what we were doing, I'll play the backing track if you haven't heard it here, and then we'll have it available for you too, but it's this. So in terms of a groove, I think I've got dun, 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 and dun, 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 and ducka, ducka, ducka. Those are the 3 different things I have to choose from. Now, physically, technically, I may or may not be able to play all 3 of those, but that's what's available to me. So when I go to start playing, right? Those are the kinds of rhythms I'm going to be thinking about. And then in the second video, what we did was we started adding in the human elements of hammer-ons, pull-off slides, things like that, to really make this start sounding more real, more authentic, more vocal, really. Right? It's all of those subtle elements that really make this work, not just some guitar lick that you learn how to play, but really diving into the isms that make this sound the way it does, which is what the guitar course is all about. Which again, there will be a link somewhere around here that you can click on and learn more about that, and I would highly recommend that you do that. See if it's for you, and if it's not, that's cool. But if it seems like something that will help you, please check it out. Okay, so then the third thing here, what we're going to do is we're going to start adding in some color tones. So the one we're going to talk about today, and don't worry about the name of it, but we call it a second or a ninth. Okay, now in this particular situation, because we are in minor pentatonic, because the jam track is over B minor, I'm going to add that note right there into my pentatonic. Okay, now the thing about notes like this are that when I add them, they're going to sound really unique because they're outside the traditional pentatonic that I've been playing. But in order to make that sound unique, I can't overuse it. If I use it just as much as I'm using everything else, it's no longer unique. It just sounds like everything else. So what I try and teach people is think about playing your pentatonic like you normally do, and then every once in a while, reach out to that, I'm going to call it a ninth. So reach out to that ninth, okay? And then notice how powerful it sounds when you play it. Now, there's 2 really great places that I enjoy playing this. For now, again, I'm not using the whole fretboard. I'm just using a couple of positions here to keep things nice and straightforward. So this one I'll definitely use. So I'll either, slide upward or go backwards. And again, slide might not be the best word. You can certainly pick, or hammer on or pull off. You can do lots of things with the note. I'm just saying a forward motion or backward motion. I explore all of these different possibilities of things that I can do with that note in the context of my pentatonic that I'm dealing with right now. So that's the first one. The second one is just the octave up from that. So if you think about it, this note right here that I'm playing is A. So what I'm going to do is just add that A right here in this octave. So I'm just taking the pentatonic here, and there it is right there. So it sounds again. Now we're going to be looking at all kinds of different scales and things in Play Blues Guitar Solos, Made Easy, okay? I keep saying all these words, Blues Guitar Solos Made Easy, the guitar course that you'll find the link for. The cool thing is that if you can learn how to utilize these extra notes in a crafty way, instead of just overusing them, you see, then I'll just go back to pentatonic, and then after a while, see, your brain kind of forgets about it after a little bit, and then I can bring it back up. Now again, like I just said, we're going to talk about different scales and different things like that in the course. But the one thing that I try and avoid as much as possible is just teaching people a bunch of scales and then going, okay, go make music with it, because that's really hard to do. It's more understanding that you're starting with something like a skeleton, like the pentatonic, and then you're adding things, you're thickening up, whether you're doing it in our situation is minor, so we're adding certain notes. Well, if you were on the major side of things, there's other notes that we would add. And there's scales and modes and all kinds of stuff, and we talk about all that in the guitar course. So it does get deeper, but in our case right now, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to play this progression so you can hear it a little bit. If you haven't watched the other two videos, and I would suggest that you go back and do that, okay? So here it is. Again, you might play a little more, you might play a little less, I mean, it's all up to you. But the point is if I start off thinking about those rhythms, those subdivisions of groove that I have, if you will, and then I think about these color or these vocal things that I can do over the top, and then I start adding some of this color on top of it, these color notes, like the ninth that I'm playing here. And kind of explore all the different ways that I can do these. And again, I'm purposefully just staying in a couple positions right now so it doesn't get overwhelming. So you can just see how very basic I can still make this sound musical. At least that's my hope, right? So I'm going to give you this backing track if you haven't downloaded it already. And I want you to explore these three things and see if it's working for you. See if you can make more sense of your solos and make them sound a little more authentic. And again, most importantly, change your mindset. Think about your guitar. Think about your tone. Think about your touch. Think about your approach. Think about the track or the song. If you play in a band, what you're trying to relay at that point in time with that solo or with that song to that audience or whatever it might be. Think more on a musical level and not just, well, Mixolydian works for whatever, and if you use Dorian, that's all fine. It makes for a great book. You can write a great book about it. You've got to learn how to, and I use the word sell, and I don't mean that financially. I mean, you've got to convince somebody when you play that what you're playing sounds authentic. That's what salesmanship is to me. It's doing it right to where somebody hears you. I always think I could pull all sorts of names, but Elliot Easton from the Cars. For whatever reason, in my mind, if I heard a Cars song and I heard the solo was always perfect. There's nothing else you could do to a Cars song that was any better than what Elliot Easton had done because it was authentic. It was great. It fit what he was supposed to be doing. Doesn't mean he couldn't play faster or slower or knew more scales or whatever. It doesn't matter. What he did for those songs was perfect. And I'm sure you can think of people too. But that's what I want you to be thinking about a little bit, and that's what this guitar course is all about, is changing your mindset and really getting you into a space where you're responding to the music. You're not just listening and, oh, it's a pentatonic scale and doing your thing, right? So please do me a favor, check out the link that's somewhere near this video and see what you think of it and practice this video. If the guitar course is something that's going to help you, that's awesome. If it's not something that you see that's going to work, it's okay, all right? Use these videos to help you as well, and see if it can kind of open your eyes and your mind a little bit to better guitar soloing. So take care, stay positive, and I will talk to you soon.